Alrighty, Doc here for North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And it is just another crazy day in America. Been trying to follow the news on some level to see if anybody's really communicating anything that makes any sense on a local level about what they did to Mr. Trump yesterday, but nothing really there. It's just the talking heads on the big TV networks talking about how much they hate him, how much they dislike him, how much they can't wait for him to die or go to jail or be killed by a meteorite, or just goes on and on. Their level of fantasy has just become off the edge and out of control at this point. It makes no sense. Anyhow, as you can see, it has almost no effect on the dollar. You can see there's the dollar index on Chicago Quant, and right there is the dollar index on J4X, and you see to a great extent there is no real effect out of it. Stock market was plus. I think it still is, or minus. Let's take a peek real quick. Yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is -7, -8 there now. So I mean, basically it's unched. Now the Nasdaq has been down all night long. Whatever is going on there's obviously some stock that had some issue. And as you can see there, the S&P 500 is down 10 points. So it's obviously one of those tech stocks that's in the S&P, because both of them are feeling it, whereas the Dow Jones Industrial Average being down 6 at the moment, 5 now. That stock obviously is not in that index. All right. Let's see. Oh, let's go to the chat line, make sure everybody is there. Yesterday I was like trying to get that thing to go, and it was definitely giving us hesitations. There we are. And let's see who's in the house this morning. I see Robin. I see Metho 2000. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's the beginning of the second day of the week, of the trading week, and looking fun, And like I said, I'm not really seeing any noise from what they did to Mr. Trump yesterday. So it's not really having an effect on the market because they realize it's just a bunch of absurdity as usual. That seems to be the classic at this point in time. Washington, they passed a bill for $730 some odd billion, and they call it the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's $740 some odd billion in taxes. And I don't know how they figure they're reducing inflation. Everybody knows that you don't raise anything. The only thing, I guess there's one thing you do raise. You raise rates, and inflation's around 10%, and we're looking at a 2.25% to 2.5% of our interest rates. So it really is confusing. The level of incompetency, but again, the Fed controls everything, and so no worries, Oh, here we go. Tambet, how you doing? So, no, I got no worries here today. Just everything's going to be probably propped up. Last night when it all came out, stock market was fine. It was firm. Nasdaq was down a little bit, and I'm sure as the day goes on, we'll see what's going on there with the Nasdaq. All right, let's get back to the currencies. And let's take a look at the euro as we take a sip of our water. There it is right there. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. You see just a little pressure on the hinky ashkies on J4X. It's red for a couple of days. We went into a buy last night on Chicago Quant. And you see right there. Actually, it's 2 days in a buy. This is the third day. It's just flirting with the sell as we speak. So it went into the buy there on Friday. Let's save that so I don't have to do this again. Save workspace. Save workspace as. Bingo. So you can see the euro is up for the day. We've got a red and a green, a little volatility trying to kick in. It's the green and the histogram itself is trying to play the minus side. As you can see there, it's minus 0.00019. The weekly is trying to turn up, so it's a lot of mixed messages in there. And you can see how it's flatlined against the 0.618 on the way back up. That's that yellow line right there. And at the same time, it's tried to make the 0.76 a support. So it's really trapped in some type of chokehold. And if it gets into that weekly buy, it might be something. Inflation hit 20% in Estonia. Did it? Ouch. I blame America and my Democrats to a great extent. They have come up with some of the worst economic policies in recorded history. And we feel your pain. We do. 54. Yo, Smooth, where you been hiding? Gold, please, Doc. Trapped between rising rates and high inflation. How do you see it till Christmas time? Merry Christmas. Well, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Okay. Well, to start off with, we've been pushing the idea around here. Let's put gold up there to start off with to help you out. There it is there, the gold. And the gold, we've been talking about it here. We think this is like playing billiards, you know. We think the 4 ball is going to hit the 7 ball, which is going to hit the 9 ball. And so what we think is this: the 3 ball is the election, and the 7 ball is the election with the opposition party taking full control of the Senate and the House, and the 9 ball is it's veto proof to the point where Mr. Biden has no power anymore. Because when you have veto proof Congress and a Senate, then they become a big influence of the executive branch. Even executive orders don't fly too well. They can shoot them down. In other words, it means like basically the Congress is the parent and the president is the child, and basically they spank the child or control the child or keep the child out of harm's way most of the time. So going back to that 54, basically we think that the Federal Reserve is going to feel much more concerned about the shenanigans and the games they've been playing with a almost veto-proof or super majority Congress. And so they can't do all the stupid things they've been doing for all these years. And so, to me, I know that's a long way around, but what I believe is going into, say, October, maybe a little earlier, we're going to start to see more strength. Earliest I would believe would be late September. Here we are heading for the middle of August, and we are trying to show strength in the metals complex. I figure they get them in a weekly buy here. I think silver is already there, too. Let's show you silver, too. And we've been bull on the silver-gold pairs trade, too. We thought silver would outperform, and it has been doing a good job. It's gone from basically 18 since we talked about it to 21, just about 21 at this point. So it's gone up $3, where gold, on the other hand, which has been in a long daily buy from the same time period, has gone from the 1725 area to the 1810 basically. So it's outperforming. But I think what's going to happen going into the last quarter of the year is that it's going to look better. The gold's complex will, because I think that the Fed is going to have a problem doing the games that they've been playing with the metals complex and interest rates. So does that make any sense there? Nickel. Yeah, I think we got, don't we have nickel? I don't know if we have nickel. Is that Storm out there? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yo, Storm. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's see. Nickel is near the bottom. Is it really? I don't really follow it because there's not a good contract in the States. We follow palladium a little bit. I think I have this. I think I have a palladium chart. And then obviously we have the platinum. You can see the platinum went into a weekly buy 3 weeks ago, which I've been using that as a warning sign that you don't want to be short the silver and the gold because of that. And it's been we've been saying that since the week it started to do it right there. So it did fall into a sell for a day or two right here. I guess that's like last week, Tuesday and Wednesday. But it jumped right back in going into Thursday. And Friday it closed in a daily buy. And we're in that weekly buy. So usually platinum is a leader. It doesn't fix that discount that it's trading at to gold, the historical discount. But it's definitely something going on there. So I hope that makes sense to you, 54. Metho, bottom of the trend. Was that nickel? Copper did the same thing, right? I mean, let's take a look at copper. Right there. And, I mean, look, when we scrunch that puppy up like that, it's been years since when? Was that 2000? April of 2020, it played with that area. It's a long, no, it didn't even do it. No, it's even there. It's more like September of 2020. So, yeah, copper has done a good job there. And I imagine the nickel is doing the same thing. Copper is too expensive. Yeah, I'm with you, Metho. I'd assume so. I think our opinion on that, not the math, but our opinion. Remember, my opinion is me trying to interpret what's going on, but the math is obviously the thing that makes our money, And I would say that China is in really tough financial shape at the moment. I mean, it's been in a bad state for a long while, but it's really starting to get to the point where they can't pay off foreign investors anymore. And like Evergreen and so forth, they've allowed the foreign investors to go down the tubes on it. And the media chooses in our country, here in the States, to not talk about it, like as if China's still the second most powerful nation in the world, and it's going to, it's going to outproduce the United States in a matter of weeks, months, and a few years, and blah 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 blah. I think I'll quote Storm. Whoop 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 whoop. Warning, baby, warning. Whoop whoop. It's a joke. China is maybe the 6th largest economy in the world. At best, they don't have a currency per se. They have some fixed thing that trades a couple percentage points a day in volume. So I would say that is the pressure on copper more than anything else. Am I entertaining you, Storm? Of course I am. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy that. I enjoy entertaining everybody. The news is so real. The real news, or the actual up-to-date news, is so real. You need to laugh at it more than anything else because it's so goofy, so ridiculous. It's just, pass a bill and start spending another 800 billion. Who comes up with this stuff? Nobody on the planet can do this stuff. It's goofy. It's incredibly stupid. And look at our currency. It just still sits there like as if, I don't know. Is that okay? It's like deputy dog, the currency. It just kind of, okay, another $1 trillion spent, no problem. Yeah, it's Barney Fife. So that's where we are, 54. That's where we are, Metho. I agree that copper needs to come down even more, and it's probably being held up more because of the Chinese. And then for Storm and Tambit, I hope I've answered your questions. I'm sad about that 20% inflation. I blame the U.S. for this goofiness to begin with. So the executive branch and the House and the Senate are all one party, and they make no sense. Like 9 out of 10 times, they make no sense whatsoever. All right, where were we? Oh, yes, we were starting to look at euro, so we can dive back over to the currencies and see what's going on over there. And there's the euro. No, that's the S&P 500. Where is it at? There it is. There's the euro. You see it's moving towards the highs of the day. Our weekly is kicking up. Over in, what did I put up over there? Euro AUD. Oh my God. Just beat me with a spoon. Alright, there you go. You can see that triangle thing going on J4X, and you can see it's zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. It's really not going anywhere. I would think we'd see a little weakness in the dollar, but until the adults come back to running the government, I mean, they're just going to do as many strange things as possible that make no economic sense, and in the end only hurt people like in Estonia or Turkey or Europe or something like, Western Europe, or, in the Scandies like Estonia up in the Baltic area. It's not a good thing. America's the days of the adults running things are gone. It's a bunch of children in there now. All right, and you can see the euro is really trying to perk its head up. Look at it there. Let's see what cable's doing. And this is the third day in the buy. And you can see it's at the highs, And you can see cable's doing the same thing, trying to get into the weekly buy, but look at that daily. It's still choked off. They're not really getting it to go. There it is. There she blows, the great white British pound. You see it's been weakish, coming to the lows of its range there on J4X. Same thing with Chicago Quant. You see the green line down below. Histogram minus, and the weekly is flirting with the weekly buy. So maybe buyers are sliding in thinking, maybe I better get a little long in here in case they sell a little dollars here. I have to believe the closer we get to the election, the metals and the currencies will look better, and the dollar will look weaker. I mean, the dollar is so overpriced now as it is, but it's just like with copper. It's got a force behind it that's pushing it, and the fundamentals have no relevancy whatsoever. All right, from there we slide over to the Swiss franc. Let's see where the Swiss franc is. There's the Swiss. Still pushing down in the daily sell for a second day. I know I put that line in there yesterday. What is up with this? Why can't we see these things? Let's save it. Save it. There we are. So the Swiss, we talked about this yesterday. I think someone asked. Who was it that asked towards the end? Was it Storm? Someone asked me about Swiss at the end of the day. It was like right before Storm came in. But the Swiss, I would assume, is going to try to touch the bottom of the top of the range, but the bottom of this range. So in other words, it's going to fall back into that thing. And we were showing. There we go. How about now? How about now? There we go. The FBI just busted into the house and they're taking my files that I have on Trump. Yes, officer. No. I think I accidentally hit the my foot pulled the plug out. That's what it was. So there we are. We're back again. Come in, Houston. Bring Doc back. He's orbiting Earth again. Doc from the Chicago Quant space station. That's what it is. Our house is in the sky. That's right. Where else do we go from here? I guess as you see the Swiss, you see that action there. I still think it'll find its way back down to the old top of the range. Not this new top of the range here, but this one down below, right there. All right, from the Swiss, we slide over to the Turkish Lira. Let's see what they're doing with that today. We'll go dollar Turkish Lira to start off with. And you see there, it's playing with the 18 again. The song and dance is at the 18. 1799. No. 1796.7. And yesterday, they busted through it. No, it was 1799 yesterday. And it's like going to sleep. It's just hiding there. It has no passion whatsoever to go back down. Let's put the Euro Turkish Lira up on there. Right there. Trading at 1838. They're actually tightening up, aren't they? The euro against the compared to the dollar. I don't remember them being as tight. And then we go over to the Canadian. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't put the euro up on there, too. Let's do that. There's the Euro Turkish Lira. And it's, banging against. It's amazing. They're really close to each other. I guess, is that because the dollar is strong? I guess it is, or weak. End result, I guess the dollar is weak, right? But it doesn't seem like it's having much of an effect. It is a strange situation. The best trade of all. Very mixed messages. Everything is unclear. Yeah, I Tambit, I've been saying that for a while. I think, and then at the same time, the one thing you don't, we used to have some expressions on the trading floor that were great reminders how not to do something stupid. And one of them was never short a dull market. In other words, something that's really quiet. Never short it. Because, when it wicks up, it screams like a bull, So, as much as we see this craziness that's going on, and you think, geez, they got to sell dollars, and the stock indices should go down because of uncertainty, and it's really like a dull market. I've been seeing lately on the Financial Channel, they are measuring how many times the Dow goes plus or minus in a day. And you're getting into these like 120, 115, 135, 200 times in a day. Throughout most of the day, they're really lost. They don't know. The fundamentals are not working, and they're trying to follow the fundamentals because of their incorporation manifesto. So it's a real ugly affair. You're right. I think you've described it best. I couldn't say it any better. Very mixed message. Everything is unclear. I think that's a very good way of looking at the markets. I really do, and I would emphasize people think it that way. Don't short a dull market. Keep your powder dry. In other words, don't go so fast. And if you're dollar cost averaging into something, shrink it down a little bit, but stay with it. Still doing the dollar cost average. Just keep your cash ready to go in case you need it for something. Like, jumping on a plane and getting away from the FBI. Something like that. All right. From there, where are we at now? There is the euro. Let's put up the Canadian on there. There's CAD. Here it is over on Chicago. So we've been in a buy since here, and it's pretty much gone nowhere. We flirted into a weekly buy last week. Why is that pink? There we are. We flirted into a weekly buy last week, And what we've done now is I'm saving this so we'll keep it that way. And then what has happened is that the markets have been lost, mixed. Same situation. What's interesting, just going back to that Euro Turkish Lira versus dollar Turkish Lira, is the fact that they're tightening up together, which is really unique. I haven't seen that at all since we've been following them over the last couple years. I mean, they're fighting their way towards parity, which is really wild. I mean, the dollar one is trading about 190. Was it? Let me think. What is it? It's trading at 18, almost like 1797, 98, and 40. Not even 40 ticks away is the euro trading at 18, like 1834 or something like that. So that's something to really ponder and think about. All right, from there we drive over to, since we're looking at CAD and we see CAD kind of flat, not really taking on the dollar, but just kind of flat. When it goes down, it's making money against the dollar. So it looks like it's trying to head that way, and we're back in a weekly sell. So we would have to assume that the oil complex is up again today, like yesterday. I think it went into a buy yesterday, to be exact. Yeah, September contract went into a buy yesterday, and you can see it's there again today, and you can see that pressure on the product. I hope I made some sense, Tambit. You surely did. There's no doubt about that. These markets are very mixed. Messages not communicating very clearly, and everything is unclear. Yeah, you couldn't say it better. Very mixed messages, everything unclear. You can't say that any better. That's the best way of describing it. Robin and I talk about it. I keep on saying, it's got to end soon, like in the next 2.5 months. They got to somehow start to anticipate. They'll know going into the last 2 weeks of October. They'll have a really, really good feel for where the politics is going. And to me, the question is, how many seats at this point will Republicans win? Obviously, they're going to win enough to be the majority. The question is, will they be a supermajority? That's the question. And that changes all the politics in this country, 100%. It changes it dramatically. Alrighty, from there, let's see, where do we go? Let's head over to, we showed you oil, we showed you Canadian. Let's go take a look at South African Rand. Right there. And it's trying to go down a little bit. It's got a little volatility thing again, and it's trying to get into the buy. And what another mixed message. Because when that goes down, gold goes up. No doubt about it. So right now, we're watching this dollar South African Rand, to see if we can get a clear beat on, is there going to be more strength? Are we going to see this, the South African Rand slide more and more in its own favor? In other words, when it's going down, it's gaining in value because it's against the dollar. So it means it's becoming more valuable. All right, from there, we slide over to the yen. There's the yen. And you can see the yen is playing with the daily buy now for a 5th day. It just keeps on finding ways to pressure itself up. And, it's not going to change any for a while, at least I can tell. And I think that the Japanese yen against the dollar is a good signal to understand the dollar's actions. I think it's very, very telling of a story, And money likes to be safe. So we're seeing, a yen trying to park itself. I've used the Japanese of the 1980s as a comparison to the Chinese in 2000s. Especially into the teens. Where they bought a lot of foreign assets and realized that they couldn't bring them home, and so they can only hope that they get some type of compensation for what they paid for. We'll see. All right, so that tells us that gold is probably up. Or no, it's actually no. That's right. We didn't look at gold. Let's go back to gold real quick. There's gold. With it going up, that tells us why the South African rand is trying to head down. And flirting with that weekly buy right there. All right, now we go back to the yen. And it's been flatlined for 3 days on the close area. And there's not much else to be said about it at this point. Just let it play itself out. Bitcoin down 3%. All right, from there we jump over to the south of the United States. We go to the Mexican Peso. Right there. As you see, the peso playing again with that. What is that? That's the 0.23. What is that? Yeah, the 0.23. So it's playing with that. They don't seem to be able to really get these things moving. It's sitting there in the center of its range. The channel is alive and well and holding on. Yep. And you can see we're flirting with the weekly sell, which is, to me, a little of a surprise. It'll probably do one of these again, go a day or two, and then turn back up. There we are. There it is. As you can see there, I put a little circle around the weekly on the Mexican peso. It is putting some pressure on itself. 54 says CNBC headline. What do you think, Doc? Absolutely not. Don't chase the rally in stocks and bonds right now. Investment managers say. I don't really watch CNBC, but I would say that I agree with the idea of not trying to chase it. You just stay the same course as you have been, as dollar cost averaging it. Every month you dollar cost averaging a little bit more. Take another nibble. That's all. You don't burn all your resources. You just a little nibble here and there. That's it. So that you have a position on. I saw where Kathy Woods sold out. What's that? Coinbase. She sold it out 1.4 million shares right before it rallied, and that's a perfect example of not understanding the marketplace. And right now, to understand this marketplace, there's a lot of pressure on the upside from the Federal Reserve, which bleeds into the rest of the market. There's no real calamity going on that we're concerned that the end of the world is coming. So that's usually what perks these things up is inflation gets going, and then the Americans start to feel nervous about some type of attack of some form. We're not at that point anymore. The new markets, the derivatives are so predominant now that they hedge themselves all the time. I mean, you have a Kathy Woods doing stupid things, of course, but you think we are heading into a bear market. Well, we've kind of been there already, but I think I did a webinar on this about 5 or 6 months ago, and I said basically is that maybe it's like 3 months ago that the bull and bear markets are not the same anymore as what everybody reads about, because the funds are not really driving it too much. It's usually a limited group that's doing it, and once they're done selling, the products always go back up again. So I'm not really convinced that the Federal Reserve is going to push us into a recession. It's just going to stay sanguine, I guess you could call it. That's what we used to call it on the up in the hedge fund industry. It's sanguine. It's sideways. It's passive, peaceful. So that's kind of it. See, only a dip. Yeah, just a dip. I don't see any particular reason. I mean, there's plenty of reasons out there that you could look at, but right now, I think they're more to the side. You got to assume that things are going to get much more nervous with the markets when it gets close to Trump getting power, or the Democrats losing power, one or the other at this point. Trump getting power could be part of the Democrats or the Republicans taking the power from the Democrats through the through voting and so forth. So, always wise. Yeah, I'm like a wise owl, aren't I? Woo, woo, woo. I just try to project solid ideas that I don't run from. That's why I quote myself. In other words, when I say these things, normally I see evidence and believe it. So it's smart for me to quote myself 3, 4, and 5 months later, because it's still doing the same thing. I think it looks more like a bear market. Somewhat. It's funny that a bear market. I'll tell you, Storm. A friend of mine. I should show you the email. A former chairman of one of the exchanges sent me this email over the last 24 hours. Let me see if I can find it. I trashed most of it. I don't remember the beverage curve mentioned. Yeah, here's one. So I can bring this up. The beverage curve. And then, where's the other ones at? Let me check my inbox. He was talking about, I guess there's a water problem down in Mexico. And they're running out of water to produce beer. So that misspelling of bear plays into the bear market. It was a Freudian slip in your favor. Like I said, I have this old chairman of one of the exchanges yakking to me about the beer market over the last 24 hours. I don't think he even drinks beer. I think he drinks wine. He's like in his 80s. So yeah, I don't think bull and bear markets exist anymore the way we knew them and measured them. I think now they are just up markets and down markets, because the Federal Reserve is very instrumental in moving the markets around. Metho, it looks like it's trying. It really does. It looks like it's really, really trying. I hear you there. Oh, my waistline does not, but my heart and my belly does. Indeed. Yeah, I'm not. Let's go back to the metal. I think we're done the currencies anyway, so we can go back and look at the metals. And there's gold. Gold's at the highs of the day. We've been in a daily buy all the way back to July 22nd. We're in August now. The weekly is showing true life. And then there's silver. It jumped into the daily buy yesterday. It was flirting with the daily sell here for a while. It's gone now. That's cool. We can get rid of that. Oh yeah, it's still there. See, it says minus 0.01. Minus 0.01. It's still flirting with it. I can put that red back in there again. That's for tomorrow at this point. We'll see what they do with it, but more than likely, Yeah, so we do a lot of September and Oktoberfest around here nowadays. Americans are really getting into it. All right, where we at? All right, so that's silver. We've looked at platinum. Platinum is not letting go. It's the third week in a buy. And copper, what's copper doing? Is it flirting with the weekly in copper? Let's see what copper's doing. There it is right there. Yeah, copper's also flirting with the weekly buy. I agree with you. I think it's overpriced, but it's the one tool that the Chinese use a lot of. They trade it around like gold. What else can I say? I guess that's about it. Now, from there, we'll go over to the energy complex, unless someone wants to see something again in the metals complex. But I'm looking for more strength going into the end of this quarter, third quarter, or the beginning of third quarter. That's it. Which is what, September? Let's see. Fourth quarter starts in October, so we're in the beginning of the third quarter. Now I'm looking for strength more in the metals complex towards the end of it. But we are heading for August, what's the date? August 9th. So we're basically over halfway through or just halfway through the summer. So that's where we're at this point in time. So, a couple more weeks. I'm going to be, I'm figuring when we get into September, especially middle to late September, I have to believe money's going to try to anticipate a higher metals complex. All right, from there we jump over to oil. There's September. Let's put it up on J4X. Right. There's Brent. You see Brent is coming off of its lows, trying to lift up. You see American oil, the Septembers are over $90 again. Playing with the 92 area as we speak. Like halfway through 92.5 area. And so there's a lot to be, seeing there. I think oil prices are going to go back up again, especially going into September. I know that sounds odd, but for some reason I think we're going to start seeing more strength in it. The math is in a weekly sell at the moment, so it's not the math telling me that. It is trying to get into a daily buy, but that's not a strong deciding factor. I just figured that the Fed won't be able to play its games as much as it was doing before. All right, from there, you can see there's Brent there up on the screen on J4X. Brent is trying to lift at the same time. It's got a green. The Hinky Ashky, is screaming at us, hey, look at me, it's going up. And then we see the stochastics, the two daily stochastics battling with each other, the green line and the yellow dash line. And it's trying to say the same thing. It's trying to get some legs and get lifted again. All right, from there we jump over to the back month of crude oil. Let's put that up right there. There it is there. It's the second day in a buy. It's flirting and lifting. The weekly is minus still. Just like the September contract, it is having a problem to get going here. And then we go over to natural gas right there. You can see natural gas, it's been perking its head up. It's still in the minus, second day of the sell. But the weekly has lifted and is in a very strong position. Let's put that up there. That is nat gas. That's it right there. 7.8. Yep. 8.4 is last traded. And then we take a look at the European natural gas. There it is, 27.81. It's fallen back below that 28 again. We keep on thinking it's going to find a way to get down to that 24, 25. We'll see. It's a very dicey, politically active player in the arena of politics. So you have to be careful. What may look like a buy, when it finally doesn't go too far, it goes into a sell. You're going like, oh no, you're in a buy. Why are you holding on? It's like, no. It doesn't work that way. The math starts to tell us different stories. All right. From there, you can see 27.76. Not much more to be said. It's trying to lift. You can see the green line piercing the yellow dashed line. And we got a green candle. So it is trying to show some life here. All right, next one. That's pretty much it, really. Natural gas, crude oil, back month, front month, Brent, European natural gas, and the American natural gas. All right, let's head to the barn. Start heading for the end of this. Let's take a look at the stock indices and see how unproductive they have been, even with all the wild news. Let's see. There is the S&P 500. You can see it's down a little bit. You see it over here. It's around here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, and let's take a look at the J4X and see what it looks like over there. There it is right there. It's through the daily sell. You know, green line is broken down, and I always watch it a little bit, believing that it's going to, do something right. And then, since we have chickens too, and then you can see it starts to pair off, and now it's strong. And I posted the happy birthday for the currency went into its anniversary of being in it. No one's talking about it over here. I'm sure one of these shows must talk about it sooner or later. All right, from there, where do we go from there? Let's take a look at NQs. Right there. Same situation, breaking down a little bit. The daily is flirting with its sell. Weekly is very strong still. There we are. And there's that warning sign that we are below the sell number already. So watch and see what goes on with China and Japan. If Japan's currency lifts up, or if China stops being belligerent and trying to make it look like they're going to invade everybody and anybody at any given moment. All right, from there we drift over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the grand old lady. It's the grand old lady. You see it there. It's in a daily buy. Let's see. What is it? That red line needs to be gone. It's been in a buy. We tried to get in the buy, but we had a green dot to stop it there. It's in a weekly buy for a fifth week. This thing's been in a buy for a while. And they're not letting go of that. And that's the top U.S. stocks in the country, as far as the Wall Street Journal is concerned. I saw the old index a couple of days ago because someone was here talking about it or something. Maybe it was, what's his name? I can't remember. But end result is he's looking at it again, so I'm watching it too. And I'm thinking that, if the dollar would weaken in some way, it might give us a signal if we've really changed our trend altogether. It's so hard to say what are the movers anymore of the market. There's a bunch of them. There's plenty of money out there. The Federal Reserve has made sure of that. All right, and then we'll drift over to the Russell 2000. There's oil. There's DAX. Where's Russell? I'll put that in. Let's see what happens. There we are. Yeah, see it. And that's natural gas. Wrong one. What was it? We were talking about the stock indices. So we're going to put the Russell in there. That's the Nikkei right there. There's the Russell. You see Russell's been on a nice tear. It's been a daily buy for weeks. Since the 1800 area, it's trying to go to the 2000 area now. There you go. Went into the buy here. And that is the story when it comes to the stock indices. They are not tipping us off of some calamity popping around the corner. Instead, they're voting with their feet. They are standing to the side. And I guess they dollar cost average in a little bit if they sell some stock. And I think that's the way it pretty much goes. But I don't think they're being aggressively adding to their whole big portfolio. And I think instead they're just, just kind of toasted. All right, from there, let me think. What else we got going on? And if anybody wants to see anything, here's the time definitely to do it because it's so slow. That does it. That cleans off the metals complex. And the energy complex. And the stock indices complex. All right, from there, we drift over to the intraday. Let's just take a look at that. Of the three products. There's the Dow. It's off almost 20 points. And it dipped while we were talking at, what time is that? At 7:19 and 25 seconds. It started to go into a buy and has done a nice job at it. Over on the NASDAQ, right there, it's still pushed down whatever's pressuring on it. It's now day 83. So as much as we hope to see these things get some legs in them, the best thing money can do is nibble softly and always have extra cash. Not just the cash that you have on hand, but on the equity side, try to nibble a little less in case they give us another shoe down. I don't really see it in the math at the moment, but I do see that there should be more uncertainty. And when you put uncertainty together with the math on the market, you basically can say, definitely not going to be healthy. Healthy, wealthy, or wise. All right. And then last one is the grand old lady, and that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average right there on an intraday basis. You see it went into its buy here. And it stayed in the buy all the way out. As much as it tried to get into the reds here, I believe the histogram stayed. Oh no, it did. It went into a sell there off of this one. Let's see. There's three. 1, 2, 3. Went into a sell here. And then jumped back into a buy over in here. And it gave us a volatility signal right there. So it went plus. And it's taken off. All right, from that's it. That's the three stock major indices. We can take a quick look at. I think we got the DAX on here. Let's see what the DAX has been up to. Let's see what that Frankfurt market looks like. There it is. It's still showing some life. It's trying to go into a sell today. You see that there. On a daily basis. On a weekly basis, it doesn't really care what's going on. As far as it's concerned, it wants to go up, not down. All right, traders. We're about 3 minutes away from the New York Open, so I'm going to get out of Dodge here. And I will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. I've got to come up with a title for this one. What should we call this? Wow, it's Memory Lane, that's for sure. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That would be it. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. You guys have a nice day too.